Now, we know that the Mexicans brought their troops to the Alamo. But let's carry it a step further. Do you think that the Texans really expected to win? Richie?
I don't know how they could. Santa Anna had 3,000 men, but the Texans inside the Alamo had only 200. But even so, the Texans wouldn't surrender.
Yay, Texas.
Go ahead, Richie.
Well, Santa Anna surrounded them and killed everyone. Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, the whole bunch.
Well, that's why Remember the Alamo became such a famous slogan, because the Texans went down fighting.
Oh, man.
Something wrong, Salazar?
No, forget it.
Was it something they said?
Well, it's just that I'm tired of this big story of how it took 4,000 lazy Mexican cowards to put down 187 brave Texas heroes, that's all.
Yeah, well, it's true. Everybody knows about the Alamo.
Easy, Tony.
I'm not saying the guys in the Alamo weren't brave, but the Mexicans had problems, too. The terrain was against them. They had bad lines of communication. They were attacking a fortified position, and that's no pushover.
Go ahead.
And then they write a song like Remember the Alamo and all that stuff. The whole thing was a revolution. The Alamo was on Mexican land. Look, all I'm saying is, well, you gotta look at both sides. The Mexicans fought just as hard and were just as brave as the Americans.
Very good. In fact, Robert just gave me an idea for an assignment. I want a paper from each one of you expressing your own feelings about the period from 1830 to 1840. Now, if you want to write about the Alamo, fine. But remember, what I want is an expression of your own feelings.
Hey, Salazar, you're pretty sharp.
Not too sharp. I just got us an extra assignment.
Did you know Salazar knew so much about history?
No, I didn't. He sure had a lot to say, didn't he? It's the first time he's opened his mouth all term.
How can a bright boy like that be allowed to just vegetate in the back of a class?
Well, because a lot of teachers, including myself, have tried to make him open up and have failed. Personally, I think it would take a miracle worker to turn that kid on.
A miracle worker? D, C, D, F, D. Your Salazar is not exactly a Phi Beta Kappa. What was that? A B. What'd he get a B in? Spanish. I just don't think he's the wisest choice. Liz, how long can I sit in a class and observe? Remember, you told me you tried to help a kid once when you were student teaching. That's right. Jerry had worked since he was 10. He never even considered going to college. And what happened? He went to college. That's what I want Salazar to do. Now, isn't he good at anything? What about his aptitude exams? Let's see. Well, his potential seems to be well above his grade. And reading comprehension, he's near the top of his class. I knew it! I knew it! Way down deep, that boy has great hidden resources. Now, if I can just find the tools to dig deeper. Now, wait a minute. He's a human being, not a gold mine. Anyway, all this proves, bright or not, is that he's not very interested in school. Then I'll make him interested.
What you doing?
Oh, well, look who's here. The guy who knows all about those brave Mexicans.
Okay.
Yeah, she's all right. Watch your hands. Hey, maybe you were smart in class today, but you ain't being smart now.
You better watch who you grab.
You mean she's untouched by human hands?
I mean, you got a big mouth.
You gonna do something about it?
Stop fighting, you guys! You're in school! Look, if you don't stop fighting, I'm gonna get mad. I mean angry. If you don't stop fighting, I'm
Okay, all right, great.
Oh, wait, Mr. Dixon, wait for me. I saw the whole thing.
The next time, I'm going to put it on your permanent record. All right, go back to your classes now. fights upset me worse than anything else that goes on here. Now, does either of you two know what it was about?
Something about how smart Salazar was in class today.
Salazar was smart? That Salazar?
He surprised me, too. He sure had something to say. Today was the first time he decided to say it.
You see that? That's another thing that upsets me more than anything else that goes on here. Kids we failed to reach.
Mr. Kaufman, I'm going to try to save Salazar.
Save him, Miss Johnson.
I'm making him my personal one-to-one situation.
What are you going to save him for?
For college.
That would be quite a save.
A student saved is a student earned. If you think you can do it, Miss Johnson, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. I'll get back on the job right away.
Buena suerte.
Thank you.
She's going to need all the suerte she can get.
Good game. Now can we go eat?
Okay. Thanks for the game.
Hi, Robert.
Oh, hi, Miss Johnson.
Hi, Diana. Robert, could I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
What do you plan to do when you graduate Whitman?
Get married, go to work.
Did you ever think of going to college?
Are you kidding?
No. As a matter of fact, I've been up all night checking colleges that might take you.
Antioch, UCLA, Garden State. Well, thanks a lot, Miss Johnson, but you shouldn't have gone to all that work.
A college education will give you the chance to do what you want. You could be a doctor, a lawyer.
Doctor? Could you imagine me, a doctor? Miss Johnson, my family doesn't have too much money. My grades aren't too high. No college would want Miss Johnson, but you should...
Away.
Miss Johnson, we have to go. If you could get me into a college, I would have to give you a medal. Thanks a lot.
Robert! But if there is a chance...
Miss Johnson, we have to go. My grades aren't too high. No college would... Okay, why not?
Then here.
What's this?
It's an appointment Friday with the representative from...
Okay, why not? Starter.
They help kids with poor grades get scholarships to college. Will you go?
Okay, I'll see the man. Thanks a lot.
Oh, it's Miss McIntyre's office.
You didn't put down your father's annual income.
It's none of my business.
I see. He has no education, is that right?
He knows plenty of things my teacher never heard of.
I'm sure he does. Your grades don't seem very high.
Well, I'm a late starter. That's why I'm here.
Now you think you'd like to pull up your socks and go on to college.
I've been thinking about it, but I don't know if it's such a hot idea for me.
Miss Johnson seems to think you're a very bright boy.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't you want to advance yourself?
Advance? What do you think? I live in a cave or something?
No, of course I didn't mean that, but surely you want to give your children a better chance than your father is able to give you.
Mister, my father works 10, 15 hours a day. But when he comes home, he always has a big smile for my mama, and his arms open wide for my brothers and sisters and me. Now, I would be happy and proud to give my children what he gives to us.
I'm certain that your father's a very fine man. But you see, Robert, among the Mexican-American community, we don't get as many candidates as we would like. Somehow they don't seem as anxious to advance themselves as other minority groups.
We're kind of lazy, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
But we drink too much.
Robert, I'm not down on anybody.
But we're not too heavy on the brains, huh?
That has nothing to do with...
Because all we do is take siestas in the sun.
You don't...
No, Mr. Nutt. I don't think college is the scene for me. I might leave my donkey in the dean's parking space.
Robert! Robert, what happened? What do? I try to get a kid to go to college, and he ends up quitting high school. Just a typical Alice Johnson, folks.
Robert stayed out before. Don't worry, he'll be back.
I wish I could believe that.
And if he has quit, it certainly isn't your fault.
I wish I could believe that. Wait till Mr. Kaufman finds out. I will be the first person ever excommunicated from a high school.
Maybe if you'd stop feeling so sorry for yourself.
That, too. On top of everything else, I'm a self-pitier.
Have you tried to get in touch with Salazar?
He hasn't come to school.
But he is somewhere, isn't he?
Right. Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Alice.
Right. You are. No more self-pity. The important thing is that Robert Salazar is somewhere. Where?
How'd you find me?
I called your house. It's a beautiful garden. You know, I tried to plant a garden once.
What happened?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Maybe the birds got your seed.
Robert, what happened on the interview?
You want to smell some rich soil? You know, a lot of poor farmers would like a little soil like this. Forget about the interview, huh? It doesn't matter.
Want to forget about you going to college, too?
Look at all this. Not too long ago, it was nothing. A few seeds, water, care. And look. What do I need with colleges?
Look, Robert, there's a college scholarship examination coming up in a few weeks. Now, if you pass, you get tuition money. Will you study for it?
Now, forget it. I want to be a gardener. It's what I like.
What you like, or all you think you can do?
And what's that supposed to mean?
Well, it's pretty easy to say you like being a gardener when you're afraid to try something else.
That's not true.
Isn't it?
You don't think I can make it?
I think you can make it, but maybe you don't. Maybe you don't try for anything because you're afraid to fail.
I'm not afraid.
Aren't you?
I'm as good as anybody else.
Maybe.
And I could pass that stupid exam if I wanted to.
Could you?
Yes.
Then prove it.
I ask myself, who are these people Santa Ana is asking me to kill? Will my wife and child in Sonora understand what I am being asked to do? We surround a simple chapel, a house of God. Suddenly we hear the word to attack. I want to shut my ears, to be deaf. Will my finger squeeze the trigger? I pray to miss my target. Why must I call this target enemy? Who are these men I must kill? God forgive me.
That was out of sight.
That was okay.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, tomorrow's the big day.
Robert, that was a very good essay. Oh, by the way, good luck on your test tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Well, you've done quite a job on him. I guess you're pretty excited, huh?
No, actually, I'm remarkably calm about the whole thing. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Kaufman. Well?
Well, what?
Well, did he or didn't he?
Did who do what?
Did Robert pass the exam?
Robert. Oh, Robert Salazar. Oh.
Oh, yes, he did, and with plenty to spare. Oh, Liz, isn't it wonderful? Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, it's good news, all right.
Oh, does he know? Have you told him?
No, you should be the one to tell him. He's waiting outside.
Robert, could you come in here, please? Miss McIntyre and I have some news for you. Some good news.
Yes?
You passed the exam.
Yes, that is good news.
I am so proud of you. Now, we have to find the right college. Do you have any idea of what you'd like to study?
No, I don't.
It's okay. You're probably so excited you can't think straight.
Tonight at my house, we're going to have a big party. I'd like both of you to be there, and Mr. Dixon, too.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'd love to come, Robert.
It's an engagement party. Diane and I are going to be married at the end of this term.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll see you both tonight, huh?
You know, Liz, no matter what they say, there are times when being a teacher is very rewarding.
I'd like to say something. It's time for me to think back on who I have to thank for all of this. My friends, my family, my papa, and always at my papa's side is Mama. Like in the accident, when things got bad and Papa broke his leg, Mama took over his work and still ran the house with all of us crazy kids in it. So what I'm trying to say, my mother and father, now that I'm to be married and start a family of my own, is thank you. Mama, Papa, and everyone who has been so good to me. I know I can never repay you, but, well, I'll try. So let's have some more music and dancing. Jose, music.
Senora, will you dance with me?
With much happiness, senor. How come you never asked me to dance as graciously as that?
Who can dance with all that delicious food over there?
Yes, food.
Oh, Liz, look at this. Oh, I love Mexican food. Oh, so hungry.
Having a good time?
It's great. And look at all this food.
I have to get your mother's recipe for enchiladas. They look
Enchiladas?
Easy.
Well, my mama's enchiladas are pretty good, but not as good as Aunt Nieves.
Now he's a food expert. Maybe you know a little about picking a wife, but when it comes to food, leave it to Papa.
They're both over 60 years old. Not bad, huh?
Are they excited about you going to college?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Miss Johnson. You too, Mr. Dixon, and Miss McIntyre.
I'll go.
No, stay, because I'm talking for both of us. I've decided not to go to college. That's what I wanted to talk. You told me what I might be if I go away to school and what I might be if I stay here. I'm glad you made me take that test. Because you know something, you were right. I was afraid I wasn't good enough. And now I can get married and live on a house on this street and raise an army of kids, be a gardener, and know it's what I really want. You done a lot for me. You're a good person. Diana and me would like you to be our friend.
Yes, and we'd like you all to come to our wedding, too.
Let's dance.
Alice.
Alice? The party's just starting.
Not for me. I don't belong in there. You heard what Robert said. I failed him, Pete.
I didn't hear him say that.
Well, that's what it means. His whole future's ruined.
His future seems pretty solid to me. A wife, a job, a family that loves him.
Look, you know what I mean. He's not going to college.
Alice, a college education can be a wonderful thing. It was for me, but it's not the only way. Look, Robert had a choice. You gave it to him, and he thanks you for it. But he's doing what he feels is right for him.
I don't know, Pete.
Listen. Sounds like kind of a nice place to be, doesn't it?
Hey! You're not going, are you? You'll miss all the fun. My cousin Dave is coming with his dog, and Carter's bringing his guitar. And if I say you're with me, Uncle Emiliano, he might even let you watch him take out his teeth.
See? The fun's just starting. Let's go. What do you say?
Okay. Well, I haven't danced that much since my cousin Arnold's wedding.
Well, you know how it is. At your age, you have to start watching it.
You'd better watch it, wise guy. Oh, hi, folks.
Hi.
Oh, Pete, I took your advice.
How's that?
Well, remember last night how you told me college is not the only way?
Yes.
Well, you know how Rich has been planning all along on going to college.
Sure, that's what he's been working so hard for.
He's in the top 10% of the school.
Well, I convinced him not to go to college.
You what?
Alice, you didn't.
No, I didn't. But I sure had you going there for a minute, didn't I? Oh.
gentlemen, we've just received a top priority missive from our illustrious Air Pollution Control District. There's going to be smog today. First stage smog alert. No phys ed, no unnecessary exertion for the students. The teachers can exert themselves as much as they like.
Mr. Kaufman, you're always kidding, even during a smog alert.
Good morning.
I certainly hope so. Remember, if you catch any students exerting themselves, send them right down to my office. We've got to put a stop to student exertion.
Hey, Jason just came over. First day smog alert. No push-up today.
Tell me all about it, babe. With all my allergies, you gonna tell me we got smog.
There's always one man who makes history. One man who has an idea and moves with it. What's bothering you, Helen?
I think that's how it used to be. But, well, now...
You don't think that's the way it is now?
Mr. Dixon, things are just too complicated now. There's just too much money against anybody who fights against anything.
That's true. That doesn't mean that one man will lose a fight against the system. What about Ralph Nader? One man, right? He's got the auto industry turning flips to get out from under the heat he stirred up.
If he done so much, how come we got all that smog? Look out the window, man. Them cars are still filling us up with that garbage.
Maybe that means it takes more than one man to get the job done.
The system wants that air like it is.
Jason, smog bugs everybody.
Maybe so, but do you think the people in my neighborhood can afford them electronic gimmicks and air conditioners like them fat cats?
Okay, people with money can fight it better. But that's still not the solution.
Then why don't you change it? You got the reason. Like there won't be any more history if everybody dies, man. You said one man can change anything. Do it.
How would you go about fighting smog, Jason? If you were going to take it on.
Oh, I'd just say, please don't make no more smog.
Anybody else got any ideas? Al?
The state assembly's voting on smog the end of this month.
It sounds like a good time to wage a fight against smog. Richie?
People just don't care about smog. They think it's just gonna go away. There was a big magazine just did a whole issue on smog, and it was scary. Turned out the smog could make a cap in the atmosphere and keep in the heat and moisture. The polar ice will melt and flood all the coast. People are already dying of cancer from it, and fishes and animals too. Crops are gonna rot. Terrible stuff, but nobody's doing anything.
Well, maybe nobody's found a way to turn people on about pollution. What do you think about that? Come on, anybody, give me some ideas on it. Helen.
Well, maybe big ads in the newspaper would do something.
TV's all there is. People listen to the tube. Put some hip dude on TV telling them like it is.
Why don't you do it, Jason?
Do what? Get on TV? Sure. You call them up and tell them I'm coming down to be on TV.
They sell time.
I got $4. What kind of time can I buy with $4?
Jason, money's raised for projects like that every day. A campaign to fight smog would get a lot of support.
Come on, man. TV costs heavy bread. $5,000 a minute. I have to jack up a bank to get that kind of loot.
Try a local station. See how much time cost. You owe me a project for 2 months now. Why don't you take this one on?
How come you leaning on me? It was Richie talking all that air pollution jazz in the magazine.
You want Richie with you?
Sure, me and him against the system.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Mr. Barker, I'm Jason Allen.
Jason Allen?
And this is Richie Lane.
Richie Lane. Come, sit down, won't you? Sit down. Now, what can I do for you?
We're here to buy some time.
1 minute.
1 minute. Well, what time period have you got in mind?
Well, what time do you have open that's cheap?
Our least expensive time is during the late night movie.
How much?
$80 a minute.
We can raise that easy.
Be cool, Rich. $80? Is that the drive-out price? Taxes, license, and everything?
Ah, those are just the time costs. Now, if you want a tape, then,
Now we're getting down to it. Go.
Well, now you're going to be taping with one camera. And you'll want color, I presume?
Yeah.
Now, you have 1 hour for setting up and lights.
Then you'll have your taping time and the tape stock. And you'll need at least, 15 minutes, I guess, for retakes.
How much for the whole bag?
The whole bag? Well, the whole bag comes to $680. I hope that helps you fellas with your school assignment.
This ain't no dance. We come to do business.
Oh? Well, you know, I would need 2 weeks' notice, secured by a check for half the costs as a bond, and the contract would have to be signed by an adult.
Well, we can't come up with any $680.
We wasn't jiving with you. We want the time. We'll get the bread. Come on, Rich.
That's how much it costs for a 1-minute commercial?
Yeah, counting in setup, shooting time for tape, crew, raw stock, and airtime.
It's a lot of bread, fellas.
That's what I've been telling him.
It breaks down to $170 a week, Rich. We can make that.
How, brother?
Already it's down to $160 a week.
Where'd we get the 10?
My pay from the department store, and you'll kick in 10 from your band job.
If my band has a job.
You'll have the job.
Then we have the bread.
Cool. Now, we got one major hang-up. We need somebody to sign the contract.
An adult.
Which means I'd be liable. Fellas, I don't have $600 in case it blows up.
It won't never happen.
You won't have to sign anything for 2 weeks. By then we had to have half the money. We don't have it, you don't sign.
And that dude at the TV station gonna freak out when we lay that bread on him.
Yeah, the man at the TV station thought we were just kids working on a term paper or something.
You sign the paper?
Okay. If you guys come up with half in 2 weeks, I'll sign.
You got a deal. Come on, Rich, we got business. Man, that was fun. Hey, man, you dig small?
No, man, I don't dig small.
Groovy, then put something in the can. I'm fighting small. Hey, man, you dig small?
And then another kid come up to me and tell me he gave you $2, so I tutored him after school. 7 kids did that.
Yeah, the rest will probably catch up with you later.
What rest?
Well, how's it going, man?
I'm just finding out.
We're in pretty good shape. There's the rundown.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We got $10 from my job, 10 from Richie, 60 from music deal, 32 more from tutoring by Richie. And
wait a minute. What do you mean, music deals?
You said the cats in your group get $12 a man for a dance gig, right?
Yeah.
I got you a deal for $15. The extra money goes in the fund. And naturally, you want to throw in your whole pay, don't you?
Well, leave me some for bus fare, Jason.
Cool. Oh, that Sunday gig is a Polish wedding. I told him you know polkas, so you best to learn a couple.
Looks like you got everything figured out, haven't you?
He said whether to get to $28 a week, we're still short.
I'm working on that now. We'll make it.
1 ham sand, 2 fries, 4 burgers. 1 with the works, 1 with pickle, mustard, ketchup, tomato, and chili. 1 with cheese only, 1 with lettuce only. 1 BLT on rye toast, bacon crisp.
Aaron, Susan?
Here.
Adams, Stephen A.
Here.
Alan, Jason?
Here. Yes, sir. It was me.
Pete, Jason did cut a class. We have a rule against that. And Richie answering a roll call for him, I realize it was a noble gesture, but that's not exactly kosher either. Jason is not a student who can afford to miss a math class.
Take a look at that budget. Jason did that.
Jason did that?
That's right. And the math on that page is complicated, too.
If I read you right, what you're saying is that you don't want either one of those boys to get any detention for this. Is that right?
That's right. At least not until they finish this project. They've got every 3-minute schedule. And they're going to need every dime they're earning if they're going to raise the money.
You think they'll make it? $680 in a month?
There's a way. Jason will find it.
I wish he hadn't cut that math class.
I admit that's wrong, but he's right. If there was ever a valid reason for Jason to miss a math class, this is it.
If there's a valid reason.
And we both know there's a lot inside Jason. We can't shoot him down the first time he gets moving.
I know, Pete, but if you were another student and you heard that Jason got away with cutting a class, now what would you think? That he was making a personal breakthrough or that he has the faculty snowed?
I see your point.
You still think it's worth a gamble?
I do.
Well, anything else you have to say? Say it now, because when I put this car in reverse, I become a civilian.
You said it yourself. There are times for special treatment of a student.
But I've got 3,000 other students to consider.
I know, but...
I'm in reverse.
Hey, Mr. Dixon, guess how much we got?
I can't.
$172.
And 93 cents.
You guys have been moving right along, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's go to work.
Had a very peculiar dream last night. You were in it. I dreamt that Jason cut a math class, but then he never did it again. And what was peculiar about it was that I didn't know anything about any indiscretion, so I didn't even have to look the other way. And then by the time I did find out about it, somehow, as if by magic, everything was taken care of. There was no action for me to take. It was a very pleasant dream.
There were no detentions in that dream?
Oh, none.
Beautiful.
Now back to reality. I think I have a solution for Jason's problem about funds for the smog campaign. We make it a school project.
We can't do that.
Sure we can. Look how easy it was to raise the $75 for Mr. Wilson's going away present. Nobody even liked him. We can raise it.
I don't argue that the school can't raise the money, but it shouldn't.
Well, I would guarantee Jason succeeding.
But somebody else would make it happen. It's his shot, and he's got to take it.
Well, suppose he doesn't raise the money.
Then he doesn't raise the money. But at least it'll be his flop.
Oh. We help him, we hurt him.
I think so.
Okay. We won't help him.
You know what I hate worse than smog, Richie? Work. It's terrible.
No time for complaining, Jason. This is a script conference.
What you got?
Nothing yet, just the opening.
That's something. Do it. Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and friends.
Wait a minute, Richie. I mean, that stinks, man.
You can do better, do it.
You gotta grab them. If you start out like that, everybody's gonna get up and go get a sandwich or something.
Okay, then, you tell me how we grab them.
Don't get hung up 'cause I don't dig your idea, Richie.
Well, man, it's the only idea I got, so what do?
Think TV. Think like we gotta sell something.
You mean the unsale? We gotta tell people how terrible smog is.
Right. You're cool, Richie.
Now, what do we want to say? We want to say smog is gonna kill everybody if we don't stop it. And the only way to stop it is to get the legislature to do something.
Right.
So we start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and friends.
No, Richie. We're gonna hit them, make them hold still, and listen.
How do we do that?
Well, we could say, hello. Smog can give you cancer, Dick.
No, we say that first and the commercial's over. The cancer should be in the middle.
Well, how about we start? The man says, I'm on the air to tell you about air.
Hey, that's tough. Then we show him a picture of the smog or something.
Now you're grooving. Write it down. This has got to go. Boy, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
When I say all this stuff on
Hey,
TV...
Jason, wrong.
What do you mean, wrong?
You can't be the one on the tube.
Why not? I can say this stuff.
I tell you and you get mad.
You want to see me get mad? Keep jiving. Get to it, Richie. What?
Well, it's you, man. Well, you scare people.
What do you mean I scare people?
You scare me right now.
You think anybody listen to you if you was on the tube?
I wouldn't scare anyone.
You wouldn't crank up nobody either.
Well, if it can't be you, and it can't be me, then what do we do, Jason? You know we're supposed to tape this thing Thursday.
Oh, hi, fellas.
Applehead. We ain't got time to con you into it, Mr. Dixon, so we just gonna ask you. Go, Richie.
Oh, will you be our announcer, Mr. Dixon?
Me? I've never been in front of a television camera before.
Oh, leave that to us. Yes or no?
Well, I did say I'd give you all the help I could. Okay, you want me, you got me.
You got a deal. Give me the script. Here you go. Here's your script. Rehearsal's here tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
We'll have to help you pick the clothes you wear on the show.
You know that coat with the leather buttons?
Yeah.
Leave it home. It's too square for our thing. Okay?
It's got a lot of good ideas. We put a couple of hours work into it, we can really shape it up.
No, we can't.
You don't intend to read it as it is.
Word for word.
Pete, people will see you, honey. This is television. This sounds like the work of two 16-year-olds.
That's what it is.
But that's not what you are.
Look, I was hired as an announcer, not as a writer.
I think you're carrying this let them do it themselves just a little too far.
Look, I admit that it's not Hemingway, but it's what they wanted to say, and they've earned the right to say it the way they like.
I know that, but you can't get up on...
Look, just read to the end. Read that last line.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's see the back.
Not bad, hey, Jace?
No, I still like the other one. We'll go with the blue blazer.
Yeah, you're right. I like the other one better too, Jace.
Get to work, Rich.
You're the director, Richie?
Right, Jason's producing.
Okay, Mr. Director. What's next?
Well, how will practice?
It's called a run-through, Richie.
Okay, we'll run through it. Can you stand there, please? Right here. Good.
There'll be a desk right there, and behind you'll be a bookcase full of books. Go, Rich.
Wait a minute. First, let's show them what we got.
Oh, yeah. Dead.
You made it.
A day ahead of schedule.
And we got $1.14 too much.
Yeah, we're saving that for stuff to eat while we watch our show.
We won't have no show if we stand here rapping. Let's do it, Richie.
You're on!
I'm on the air to talk to you about air.
What time is it, Miss McIntyre?
It is 2:29 and 30 seconds. Half a minute to go. You nervous?
Oh, a little.
Everything's gonna be just fine.
Thanks, Jason.
15 seconds.
Here's to Richie and Jason, who are about to prove that anything can be accomplished if you want it badly enough. Cheers.
This is it.
I'm on the air to talk to you about air.
Pete, you're so handsome.
Air stinks. You know why air stinks? Because it has garbage in it. And garbage stinks. Not really this kind of garbage. This kind. Garbage from businesses. They could fix it so they didn't put that trash in the air, but they won't, because they don't want to lay out the bread. That's terrible, but that's how it is. This is a good lung. And this is what a lung cancer looks like. You've got to ask somebody who has it how it feels. It don't feel good. Exhaust from cars makes more trash. It makes your eyes burn, but people cool it. They wipe their eyes, then they forget about it till the next funky day. People with asthma and allergies can't forget it. And it gets worse for them all the time. That's how garbage is, dig? It never goes away. It just piles up and gets more terrible all the time. Getting mad does nothing. And getting sick from the air pollution will kill you. But it won't stop the trash going into the air. The cats who work here get elected by you. They're going to vote tomorrow on if they should lay out the money to study smog. Get the straight thing. And then make the cats who can clean up the air clean it up. You have a man in the legislature. Get on the phone. Call him tomorrow morning before the vote. Call your man between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock and lay it on him. Tell him to vote for spending the money. Like really, man, people are dying from smog. No joke, dying. You've got to call him tomorrow or it won't do any good. In the morning before they go to vote. Like this could be the end of the whole world. And if only half the cats alive die, they'll be telling their kids, once upon a time, there was air you couldn't see.
Rotten smog. What you think, Rich?
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, brother, that's how it is.
Yes, that's right. Well, I agree with you. Well, I thought they did a fine job, too. Thank you. Yes. Well, that's very kind. Yes, thank you very much. Goodbye. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, brother, that's... What you think, Rich?
Roll. Well, maybe if Steve McQueen steps down, you'll be able to... You know something? I can't even joke about it. They really got to me.
I hope they got to a lot of people.
I've been on the phone to my state legislator all morning. I've been trying to get him since 8 o'clock. All the phones to the Capitol are busy. Well, I thought they did a fine job, too. Fantastic! Wouldn't it be great if we could just forget about smog alerts, get back to good old-fashioned fire drills? There's something so wholesome.
To a lot of people.
I've been on the phone to my...
Feel that way. Will you come down and tell Richie and Jason what you told?
It'd be great if we could just forget old-fashioned fire drills. There's something so wholesome.
No, this will be the last time, I promise.
Been saying that for 2 years. I gotta say no, for your own good.
Is death for my own good? Rich, save my life. Friend, brother, let me copy your geometry homework.
Wonderful. Wonderful, huh?
The kids. Such vitality they have, the youngsters these days. Such oomph. I was reading yesterday in the library. This doctor, a Nobel Prize winner for his work in arteries.
Taking the bus, lady?
What? No, last week I took. Excuse me.
Morning, Pam.
Oh, morning, Mr. Dixon. You want something?
Your name is Pam.
Mm-hmm, Pam Simpson.
He's a teacher.
Mr. Dixon? Yeah.
He's so handsome.
Well, I gotta go.
I was wondering, all these grown-ups, they're all teachers.
No, they're spies.
Spies, yes.
Under the guise of parents. See, this is Parents' Day, and they all come snooping around, making sure they get their tax monies worth.
No, they're worried you should be getting a good education. Your mama's visiting? Such a nice girl. She must be very proud.
No, she's working.
Like my mama. Her whole life, she rolled in a cold basement, cigars.
Well, see ya.
I want to know how you feel about unlimited immigration. Remember, the time is 1904, and more than 1 million refugees per year are pouring in.
Can I help you?
I'm just looking.
Well, nobody's forcing you to buy. I like to browse myself.
The girl I'm looking for, I think she's in here.
What's her name?
Pam.
Pam what?
Pam Simpson.
Oh. Yes, she's in there.
I'm not so sure I dig it. Me neither. Like, what if my family had been here for 100 years and worked to make the country?
Yeah, why should a whole bunch of foreigners just barge in and get the benefit?
Hello.
Come right in. I'm Mr. Dixon.
Oh, I'm Rose Lipton. How do you do?
Pleased to meet you.
What great pleasure, I'm sure.
Would you like to join the other parents?
Thank you very much.
Okay, now. Bernie and Al were expressing an attitude that at the time of the Great Immigration was called America for the Americans. Anybody disagree? Richie.
Life was tough where those people came from. We had room. Why shouldn't we let them in?
But a lot of those people were really bad news, right, Mr. Dixon? Some were sick, some were criminals. They were really a mess.
Is that true?
Some countries did take advantage of America by sending people they didn't want. And there were big profits to be made.
Didn't the transport company fly to thousands of people?
That's right. They told anything to sell a ticket. The streets were paved with gold.
The only gold was in the ship owner's teeth.
And a little in their pockets.
Wasn't this the land of opportunity?
Well, it was opportunity, all right. But it was far more difficult to... Yes, Mrs. Lipton.
I just wanted to say how wonderful it is in the school to hear a discussion from two sides of every question. Such a good teacher you are, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Mrs. Lipton. Now, remember, as history... Yes, Mrs. Lipton?
You wouldn't mind if maybe I would relate a personal experience. You see, I was one of those immigrants that you were talking about.
Well, certainly. I think we'd all find that interesting. And all you other parents, feel free to join in.
This ought to be good.
Georgie Dressel, I'm not.
Carol Burnett?
You listen to Mr. Dixon and don't be a schlemiel.
What's a schlemiel?
What's a schlemiel?
A schlemiel is a guy that falls on his back and breaks his nose.
Such an educated class.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Lipton.
When I was a little girl, I lived in Poland. Poor. We were lucky if maybe we had for supper a piece of black bread and a raw onion. Of course, there's no disgrace in being poor, but that's the only good thing you can say about it. One day, when I was 15 years old, my papa came home and he told us we were going to sail to a faraway land called America. We were so happy because we'd heard that in America nobody starved and nobody was beaten because they were poor. And my boyfriend, David, he was sailing on another ship with his family. We made plans to meet in New York City. On the boat. You never saw so many different people. Austrians, Hungarians, Bohemians, Serbians, Italians, Poles, all huddled together like animals. Well, there was nothing to do but to try to talk to one another. Such a cackle, huh? All these people speaking different languages. But by the time we reached Ellis Island, we were hugging, we were kissing each other with tears in our eyes. I mean, what difference did it make if we didn't understand the words? We understood better than the words. We were speaking with our hearts.
Your boyfriend, David, what happened to him?
Did you meet him like you wanted?
David, his boat landed in Boston and I never saw him again. But there were new friends. There was a whole new life, like a flower was opening up. And no more onions and black bread. No. Instead, every night, rye bread and lakshan.
Lakshan?
Lakshan is a noodle that you shouldn't cook too long, not over 3 feet.
Mrs. Lipton, when you got to New York, where'd you live?
Did you go to school right away?
Mrs. Lipton, what was it like in New York?
Did you go to school right away?
I wish some of the other classes could have heard that story.
Really?
Yeah, the kids really enjoyed it. Well, I've got to go to another class. Goodbye now.
No, Bernie, give it back.
After 7th period.
Bernie, give it back.
Come on, Gracie.
Oh, what's going on here? He swiped my geometry homework.
Borrow.
Go to class. I'll take care of Billy the kid here. Bernie, you will not make it through geometry on Grace's homework.
Miss, this boy, I know him. Believe me, he's all right.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
It's quite all right. I can handle this.
Now, I just wanted you should know he's a good boy.
I thought I was a schlemiel.
Bernie, let's go. Thank you. Bernie, how many times?
And I just started my lessons on verse. See, there are 2 movements, the quick and the slow. So we have the anapost and the dactyl. And the class was really getting involved when...
They were interrupted by an elderly woman with a shopping bag. Morning, everybody.
Good morning. How did you know?
Because practically every class in Whitman yesterday was interrupted by an elderly woman with a shopping bag.
You mean Mrs. Lipton?
Pal of yours?
Well, she told my students about when she was an immigrant. Very interesting.
To a poetry class?
She told the same story to your class?
Oh, and in trigonometry, civics, chemistry, and hygiene. I had teachers in and out of my office complaining all day long.
Well, Parents' Day was yesterday. Today, you got nothing to worry about except students and teachers.
Oh, that's nothing. To him, that's nothing.
Well, at least today you don't have to worry about Mrs. Lipton.
I'll drink to that. No hair. Maybe it's gonna be a good day after all.
Some people were saying, scratch an American and you'll find a foreigner. And what do they mean? Richie?
They meant that if you go back in most American family lines, you'll soon find a foreigner.
What about yours?
Well, you had to go back a pretty long way in my family. Mr. Dixon, who was that Mrs. Lipton yesterday? She sure was groovy.
I never knew a person her age could be so straight.
Yeah, and she looks like all those other old ladies walking around.
Well, maybe some of them have something on the ball, too.
She sure gave your lesson a shot in the arm.
That's right. And that's a lesson that a lot of people hadn't learned at the time of the Great Immigration.
How about now?
Good point, Jason. Many of us still think that people who are outwardly different are not quite as good as the rest of us. Mrs. Lipton.
I had such a good time yesterday. I brought something to say thank you. This is a photograph album from when we were talking. Look, that's me 1 week after we got off the boat in New York.
Very nice.
Oh, Mr. Dixon, could we see it?
Visual aids are always useful for stimulating a student's interest.
Hey, may I pass it around?
Be my guest.
Excuse me a minute.
I've come to relieve you of your eldest student.
Why? Is something wrong?
You hadn't noticed that one of your students differs from all the rest?
Well, she does like school.
Right. That should have given you a clue right there. On her way over here, she poked her head into a few other classrooms where she's not quite as warmly received as she is in room 222. Yarnell's geology class. She told the students the sandstone specimens remind her of her Aunt Sadie's rock candy. She has to go.
It's too bad. Kids are gonna hate you.
Me? Oh, boy. In time of crisis, you find out how many friends you really have. None. Oh, if I'm a high school principal, why do I feel like a Cossack? There goes. Excuse me? Excuse me? Mrs. Lipton, may I speak to you for a moment, please?
Mrs. Lipton, this is our principal, Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Seymour Kaufman. I read it on the history book label. You know, I had an uncle, Seymour. His whole life, he looked for a girl who was so proud she wouldn't let her husband work. He never married.
I'm not surprised. Would you join me in the corridor, please?
It would be a pleasure.
Oh, Mrs. Lipton. Your book.
They're kicking her out because she's old, right?
Well, she is a little over Whitman's age limit. But don't worry. If she wants to go to school, she can go at night.
But it wasn't the school she wanted.
No? Then what did she want?
She wanted to be with us, with kids.
That's right. She wanted to be with what did she do? A principal or a teacher comes in and drag her out. It's not fair. All she wanted to do was to help and to be appreciated.
They really gave it to me.
That's sweet.
They would have impeached me if they had thought of it.
It's really nice.
No. I have never seen that class that hot. So what's nice about it?
Well, I think it's nice that those kids got so upset when you booted Mrs. Lipton out of your class.
Liz, I didn't boot her out.
That they were sensitive enough to understand that she's an old lady and probably lonely and were able to sympathize when you kicked her out.
I didn't kick her out.
To think that kids that age can put themselves in the place of someone from another generation.
Liz, I like Miss Lipton as much as anybody else.
Then how come you booted her out of your class?
One of these days.
Uh-oh, here come the vigilantes. And the condemned teacher ate a hearty peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes, Richie?
Well, on behalf of American History Class 246E, we all want to apologize for coming on so strong before.
Oh, that's all right. You were just speaking your minds.
Well, we know you're only doing your job.
And the rules are the rules.
Well, anyway, we all just wanted you to know that we all think you're a groovy teacher, and we hope there are no hard feelings.
And let bygones be bygones.
Thanks a lot. As a matter of fact, Miss McIntyre and I were just saying how much we admired the way you all sympathized with Mrs. Lipton.
Oh, then you'll help us.
Did I say one thing too many?
So what's she gonna do, coach the girls' field hockey team?
We don't have a girls' field hockey team.
So why do we need a coach?
Well, maybe she could help monitor the study hall or help in the kitchen.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be paid.
She just wants to be around kids. Is that so wrong?
Look, we are not talking about right and wrong.
Is it a crime to like kids?
And we're not talking about crime and criminals.
Well, it will be a crime if somebody doesn't help Mrs. Lipton.
Can't we go around the school and ask? Maybe somebody could use a helper, like a club faculty advisor.
Or in the library.
We're meeting her tomorrow morning before school to give her the good news.
Now they're making me feel like a Cossack. Okay, you can ask.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Kaufman. Come
You're
on.
okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Kaufman. You too, Mr. Dixon. We'll find something.
I'm afraid they're going to be disappointed, but I thought they should be given a try.
Yeah, but what about Mrs. Lipton? You can't tell with a woman like that. She just might take this business very seriously.
Telling you the truth, I'm practically an assistant teacher yet.
Rose, you're too much. You know that? What are you assistant teaching? How to cook chicken soup?
Next, she'll tell us she's an assistant go-go dancer.
Such old fogies, you don't know the truth when you hear it.
Mrs. Lipton?
Mr. Dixon, Mrs. Barnett, Mr. Como, may I present my friend, Mr. Dixon?
How do you do?
History teacher, Walt Whitman High School. Is there something that you wish to discuss with me, Mr. Dixon, concerning tomorrow's lesson?
Can we talk over here?
In privacy, of course. The children maybe found a little job for me already.
Well, they're trying, but I don't think they're going to succeed.
Maybe your assistant. You know, when you leave the room, I could schmooze. They're not going to succeed.
There's just no positions available for non-professionals at Whitman.
Such a shame. But the boys and girls, they tried. You know, that's nice. That's very nice.
Yeah. They're going to be terribly disappointed tomorrow morning when they have to tell you they failed. They're going to feel like they didn't come through for you.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Just maybe what?
Just maybe.
Just maybe what?
That's what I said.
We tried everything, Mr. Dixon. We just can't find nothing.
No luck.
That's true. I even had a go at Mr. Llewellyn.
The speech teacher?
Yeah, well, I figured that Mrs. Lipton's speech could be an example on how not to pronounce.
Uh-oh.
Who's gonna tell her?
Well, I guess I have to. She sure is going to be disappointed.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
You look darling.
Thank you. Mrs. Lipton, about that job.
I must tell you something first. Oh, I'm so ashamed. I feel terrible. I put you to all this trouble of finding me a job. But like Benedict Arnold, I feel. But you see, well, the truth is, I found a job myself. Something very important. So you see, I can't accept what you found for me. Do you think I'm awful?
No, that's
no,
fine.
I mean, if you've got something better than we can find, well, we're happy for you, right?
Right.
Good. I'm so relieved. It's such an important job. The safety and welfare of hundreds of children. I couldn't turn it down. Well, I start this morning, so I better be going. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Miss
Miss Lipton. Thank you.
That was so nice. You know, I just can't get over how sweet that was. Mrs. Lipton coming in with that story so the kids wouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, I'm surprised they bought it.
Why?
Well, she did stretch it a bit, didn't she?
Well, I don't know.
That story about her job, don't you think it was a bit exaggerated?
Well, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, how could it be true? What possible job could she have that has to do with the welfare and safety of hundreds of kids? Tell me.
That's pretty strange. No, I never have. You felt like a what? Where'd I hear that before? Well, look, Jerry, it's late. It's been a long day, and I'm having a cup of coffee with a couple of my teachers. So I'll be... Yes, Jerry. You're a very nice man. Fine. Goodbye.
Pete, Liz, you all set?
Yeah. I just had a talk with Jerry Palmer. You know the principal of Gardner Elementary School?
Oh, at 18th and Hudson.
Yeah, he's very upset. He says he's got a crossing guard over there that not only stops the traffic, but she has long chats with the drivers, schmoosing, she calls it. And then when he spoke to her about it, he got very upset because he said she made him feel like a Cossack. Isn't that strange? Wait a minute. Why should that sound so familiar? Feeling like a Cossack. That's a strange expression to use, isn't it? I don't know why that reminds me of something.
Forget where your parking space is?
No, I parked about a mile west of it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it's my doctor. He says I need the exercise. You ought to see him. He offered his body to science. They turned him down.
I think the walking will do you good anyway.
Listen, I figure if the good Lord had wanted principals to walk, he wouldn't have given them reserved parking spaces. Hey, you have a qualification to teach English, don't you?
Right. Oh, you plan on giving me a course next semester?
Why wait that long? You know Mrs. Lanahan?
Lanahan. Oh, the older lady.
When she started teaching remedial reading, she was referred to as the younger lady. She's a nice person, but it's just not working out.
What's the problem?
Well, she's got a very difficult group there. I mean, those kids are so far behind in their reading, they think school's a four-letter word.
I've had kids like that in some of my classes.
They're just killing time, waiting to go out into a world that they're totally unprepared for. So, why don't you just sit in on her class today and look the situation over?
Sure. But why me?
Well, you're an understanding person, you're an excellent teacher, and you're the biggest one available.
Mrs. Lanahan need a bodyguard?
All right. Who wants to start us off by reading today? Bob?
Me? You want me to read?
Page 16.
I forgot my book.
Well, here, you can use mine.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, pal.
We're waiting, Bob.
You want me to read this story here with this dumb-looking turkey on it?
That turkey's probably a lot smarter than us. He ain't sitting in this class.
Tony, if you continue making jokes, you'll get a poor grade for the day.
Oh, gee.
Proceed, Bob.
A Christmas turkey. My uncle's present came in a big sack, and it was
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Tony.
Huh? What?
Hey, if I'm boring you, man, just let me know.
You're boring me.
Yeah, come to think of it, I'm bored myself. You better get somebody else to teach.
Michael?
Let me have my book with you.
I'm just getting interested. What?
My uncle's present came in a big sack, and it was hilarious to see it wiggling. When we opened it, you'll never guess what was inside.
A girl.
A turkey.
Come on, man. Hurry up and get to the sexy part.
One more remark and you'll be sent to Mr. Coughlin's office. Just because you're not trying, you mustn't stop other people. Continue, Michael.
We decided to name him Gobbler. Gobbler.
Hey, he's pretty good, isn't he? Yeah, he can't read. He's just making it up as he goes along.
You see, Alice, most of these kids have given up trying to read.
They start falling behind in the first or second grade. Then they lose interest. Every year they fall further and further behind.
Well, why don't the teachers do something to help?
You can't expect the teachers to give the kids individual attention in classes that are too big anyway.
Besides, the system says everyone has to keep going on from grade to grade regardless of ability. Anyone who reaches age 16 has to go on to high school whether he's ready or not.
Well, that makes school like a factory assembly line.
It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't capable of so much more.
Yeah, some of those kids could be at least average students, and some of them well above average.
Pete. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mr. Kaufman. Hey, aren't you going to have lunch with us today?
I'd love to, but my doctor says I've got to have salad for lunch 2 days a week. I can't stand to watch people eating solid food. Would you take a look at that class?
Yes.
Gonna take it?
I'll take it.
Great. Oh, will you come by my office after school?
Why? You want to talk about that class some more?
No, I want you to give me a lift to my car.
think it's wonderful you're taking over the class, Pete.
I'd think it was wonderful, too, if I knew what I was going to do with it. One thing for certain, grades don't matter to them.
Well, can't their parents help?
These kids are from poor families,
Most of the parents don't do much reading themselves.
which will make it even tougher to motivate those kids.
Aw, I'm sure you'll inspire him, Pete.
What do you think's prettier? Our old teacher or the new one?
You want to repeat what was so funny, Tony?
No.
Well, since you're so anxious to talk, why don't you read for us?
If I could read, I wouldn't be here.
Go on and give him an F, Teach.
Yeah, well, you don't want to spoil my perfect record.
Tony, by the end of the semester, you're going to be reading.
You want to bet?
Mm-hmm. Bob, read the paragraph at the top of page 18.
I forgot my glasses.
The only glasses you got is the one your old man drinks his booze out of. You read it.
I don't want to read it.
What's the matter? Too tough for you?
No. I can read it if I want to. I don't want to.
If I give you an A, will you read it?
You could give me an X, 2 Q's, and a Z if you want. I don't care nothing about those letters, man.
If I give you this, will you read it?
You'll pay me?
If you read. Page 18.
The dance. It was a
Thursday.
Thursday, and Fred didn't have a date.
Fred
didn't have a date for the big school dance. He
wondered.
This is a lousy story.
Read it, Jack. He wondered if
he would ever find enough
courage.
Courage to ask Linda. She was the prettiest and the most popular girl in his English class.
You can't read. That ain't worth no 50 cents.
You shut up.
Shut up.
Then he was surprised to see her smiling at him.
That's good, Jack.
It's mine?
It's yours.
$1 even.
Oh, Liz, can I borrow $1? Thank you.
Thank you.
My mother warned me about guys like you.
Well, I had an unexpected expense.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, Alice. How are you?
How'd the reading class go today?
Oh, very well.
You mean you actually got those kids to read for you?
Sure. As a matter of fact, they were fighting for a chance to read.
What'd you use, hypnosis?
I told you he would do it.
What'd you say to him?
Nothing special.
Come on, Pete. Don't be so modest.
Tell us the secret.
I paid them.
Why'd you do that, Pete?
Because they wouldn't respond to anything else. I just wanted to see if the money would work.
So it worked. So what do you do for an encore?
Well, I don't know yet.
Are you going to continue to pay them?
Not on a teacher's salary. But I gotta find some way to keep it going.
Why don't you start printing up your own money?
Oh, sure. Open my own mint and turn out Walt Whitman dollars, right?
Hey, that's a terrific idea. Look, we can use the print shop and put Mr. Kaufman's picture on the front. It's just a thought.
It wouldn't work, Alice. Those kids are not gonna go for money that isn't worth anything.
Well, what if we could redeem it for something they could use?
Like real money. Look, anything that's worth something costs money.
Unless you make it yourself. Pete, do you think those kids would value the money if it could buy, homemade cakes?
I'm not sure. But it might be worth a try.
We can get Jason to design the plates for the money. Now, how do you want Mr. Kaufman's picture? Full face or profile?
Knowing Jason, I would not use Mr. Kaufman. See what kind of job he can do on Walt Whitman.
Last period, a student asked me for $50 to do his assignment.
Well, can't blame him for trying.
I asked him where he got the idea. And he told me Mr. Dixon paid him to do his work.
Pete Dixon, are you sure?
I checked the story before coming to you.
Now, look, Mrs. Lund, Pete Dixon is one of our finest teachers. He's really dedicated to doing the best job that he can. Now, if he paid a student to do schoolwork, he paid a student?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that if he paid a student to do schoolwork, he must have had a perfectly valid reason for doing it.
What reason?
Well, frankly, I can't think of one.
Start, Mr. Dixon?
Well, let's wait until the bell rings.
You call on me twice a day? You see, I'm trying to save up enough money to get the new Beatles album.
Chocolate cake? Donuts? Can we watch?
I think you've earned that right.
How about me? I'm ready. How about you? I'm ready. Try me. Hey, you didn't call me yesterday.
I want to talk to you before we start reading. From now on, I'm going to be paying you with these. Walt Whitman $10 bills.
Can I see one of those?
Sure.
Whose picture is that?
Walt Whitman's.
You mean you're not going to pay us with real money anymore?
If I did, I'd be bankrupt.
What are we supposed to do with that funny money?
Here's how it operates. You get paid according to how much and how well you work. Reading in class can be worth $20. A homework assignment, $40. And a book report can earn up to $75.
Yeah, and we can use it for wallpaper.
If you want. But there are other uses for your Whitman dollars. Like this. The Miss McIntyre Devil's Food Cake. You know, men have killed for less than this, and you can earn it just by working in class.
How many Whitman dollars does it cost?
Goes to the highest bidder.
So the one with the most money has the best chance.
And there are other baked goodies, too. Like the famous Alice Johnson donut.
I didn't know you made such great donuts. I don't. I bought them at the bakery.
All right. Who's going to be the first one to earn their Whitman dollars? Bob, turn to page 22.
Would you tell Pete to see me in my office after class, please?
I will.
But why money, Pete?
Because I wanted to reach him.
Yes, well, couldn't you have used something a little less controversial?
For example?
Well, for example, grades, like we've been using for the last 100 years.
Grades don't mean anything to these kids. All they hear is get enough A's and B's and you'll go to college. Not one of these kids has any intention of going to college. The only thing they understand is what's happening to them right now.
So you're using psychological conditioning. Do the job, ring the bell, get the reward.
Exactly. But instead of using grades, I'm substituting a reward they'll appreciate.
But don't you see, Pete, that's what bothers me about this thing. I mean, let's face it, you're bribing the kids to do their work.
Well, I prefer to think of it as motivation.
But the motivation is materialism. I mean, after a while, they won't want to do anything unless it's for money.
I'm not teaching them to be materialistic. I am teaching them how to use it so they can educate themselves.
Yes, but you're emphasizing money. I mean, if we're going to emphasize money, why don't we just start a course in hustling and loan sharking?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
That's not a... Pete, that's a horrible idea.
The kids could learn to make money with their money. Oh, I don't mean hustling or loan sharking, but something legitimate like real estate or the stock market.
Wait, hold it. Wait a minute. Real estate? I haven't even okayed the original proposal.
Is it okay?
Oh, boy, look, I'll be honest. My gut reaction is no. I've been on this diet so long, I don't trust my gut anymore. Okay. I'm willing to give it a try.
Thanks.
You know, we're going to be hearing from Mrs. Lund. She's threatened to take a complaint to the superintendent in charge of curriculum.
Anyway, thanks for the idea about the stock market.
Do me a favor, will you? Don't tell anybody where you got that great idea.
I wouldn't buy all right now.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Well, I'm pretty busy.
Well, it's very important. It's very important. Just take a second. He'll be right back. Listen, old buddy. What do you say we arrange a little loan?
What do you mean, old buddy? You were always making fun of me.
How did I know? I couldn't even read.
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, Mrs. Lund.
Mr. Dixon, I'd like to sit in on your class and observe. Would you mind?
No, not at all. Take a seat anywhere.
Thank you.
We're going to have a stock market buy and sell period. Mrs. Lund, some of the students have studied 10 companies. They've bought shares. Now they're going to trade the stocks back and forth among themselves. All right? Who made the most Walt Whitman dollars yesterday?
I made 170.
I made 220.
I made 290.
Anybody make more than that? How'd you do it, Michael?
I bought technical research and it went up.
Why'd you buy it?
Well, I read in the newspaper where they discovered a new process for water purification.
Now we'll have a 10-minute stock market session. Who's got something to sell? Bob.
I got 20 shares of United Computer.
Okay, what are the bids?
$50.
52.
5,208.
Why does Pete need 5 cakes?
Because the kids earned a lot more money than we expected. Besides, you can't have them paying more than a couple thousand Whitman dollars for a cake.
Why doesn't he just tell him it's inflation?
He can't. He's got a lot more sympathy for the government now. It's kind of hard to stop issuing money once you get started.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
The Ingerfood cake fell. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll make another one.
You know, I have absolutely no talent for cooking. I almost flunked my final exam in home economics.
Oh, yeah? How'd you do that?
Burned the salad. It's a little joke.
Cakes, money, that's what I've heard. Seymour, I don't like it.
Now, wait a minute. Aren't you jumping to conclusions just a little bit? I mean, you've only heard one side, right?
Now, wait a minute. I am a progressive man. I don't need to remind you that our school system was the first one in this state to introduce a course in sex education.
I know that.
This money program, it's just too unorthodox.
Well, how do you know you have... I tell you what. Look, the class is in session right now. Will you look at it?
It isn't necessary.
Mr. Ross, we've got to give our teachers a chance to innovate and develop new teaching methods. Now, we can't just stop them before we give them an opportunity to show what they can do. Can we?
Jerry West helped the Lakers defeat the Celtics 102 to 101 last night. West scored 38 points in leading the Lakers to their third win in a row.
That's very good, Tony. Very good.
Thanks. I owe you something.
What do you mean?
Well, remember when you first came into the class and you said you'd have me reading and I bet you wouldn't?
Yes.
Here's 10 Whitman dollars. I figure that squares us.
Okay, Tony. Well, I guess you're all ready to buy some cakes now. But before we begin, I want to say something. We've had a lot of fun in this class. First with real money, then with the Whitman dollars. But the important thing is whether your reading has improved. And it has. Arlene, your last test showed an increase of up to a year in your reading level. Michael, you've improved enough so that you're ready to leave the class.
But I don't want to.
All of you have improved. Anywhere from several months to a year. Now, we all know that this has been an experiment and we may not be able to continue it. So let's be honest. The funny money and the cakes are kid stuff. You don't need them. You'll be paid plenty just to go to high school.
What do you mean?
$100,000. That's how much more the average high school graduate makes than the guy who doesn't go to school. That means that each year of school is worth $25,000 to you. So if the Whitman dollars got you excited, just picture the real thing crossing your palm. However, most of you have discovered that money is not the real reason to learn. It's exciting just to get involved, to find out more about people, places, about yourself. Well, reading and education lets you do that. And the money's just a bonus. Now, what do I hear for this beautiful McIntyre chocolate cake?
$300.
400.
500.
Hey, come on, give me the cake. Give me the cake.
Yeah, one for me.
Big piece for Jack here. He needs it.
Yeah, and watch your mouth. But make it big, Michael. Hey, I thought I was next.
Give me the cake.
How much you want?
$20 Whitman.
Come on, Michael.
You know, Seymour, I'd like to meet this Mr. Dixon.
Of course. Dixon, Mr. Ross, our superintendent in charge of curriculum.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you. Tell me, Mr. Dixon, these figures you were quoting about the reading achievement, they accurate?
Yes, they are.
Good. But I must keep an eye on this.
You mean you like it?
Well, I didn't say that, but I am sufficiently impressed with what I saw to, let's just see how far it'll go.
It's good.
Fine.
Oh, would you like some cake?
As a matter of fact, I would, but I don't have any Whitman dollars to buy it.
You don't have any Whitman dollars? Well, would you like to read something for us?
I'd love to.
You two girls can bake me a cake anytime. I was so impressed that I'm considering recommending to the Board of Education that principals get cakes to inspire them.
I thought you were on a diet, Mr. Carter.
Oh, boy, don't remind me. I gained 3 pounds. Do you believe that? My doctor is an incompetent sadist.
Hey, not to change the subject, but isn't it amazing how well some of those kids did?
Yeah. Not only that, not only reading, some of them showed a remarkable talent for making money on the stock market.
Is that right?
Yeah. See that kid over there? If he'd been using real money, he would have made over $1,000 this month.
Is that right? It's amazing. What's his name?
Michael.
Michael. I understand you're doing very well at investing in Mr. Dixon's class. It's very commendable.
Thank you.
In view of the current market situation, what looks good to you? Do you think computer stocks are oversold?
It's your carburetor.
Well, do you think I need a new one?
Oh, I don't think so. Just clean up a little, be okay. I think you might need some plugs, though.
Got it all doped out, huh?
Well, it looks like I'm in good hands.
Bernie, it's the best we got.
Oh, no, not again.
Here we are again, Mr. Blackwell. I know we're the two people in the world you most wanted to see.
First my bursitis, now this.
Mr. Blackwell, we wanted to give you another chance to yield gracefully. We're basically a non-violent group. WARP is committed to the concept of peaceful reform whenever possible. We're hoping today you might see the justice of our position.
I already gave you my answer, girls.
Oh, excuse me, Sandy. Did I hear you say warp?
That's right, Mr. Dixon. That's the name of our organization. W-A-R-P. Women are real people.
Oh, I didn't know there was a debate on that point.
No? Well, let me ask you, Mr. Dixon. Shirley would like to be an automobile mechanic. She wants it just as much as any boy here. Now, why shouldn't she be allowed to take this course?
I don't know, Sandy. Mr. Blackwell here is in charge.
This is a boys' shop. It's a boys' course.
All right, Mr. Blackwell. I'm sorry you can't see things more reasonably. I think you'll agree we've given you every chance.
You see, if you all talk at once, I can't understand you. Sandy, suppose you speak for your group.
Well, why shouldn't a girl be a mechanic if she wants to? You know, Mr. Kaufman, what it's like to get your car fixed right. First, you have to make an appointment as if you're going to see your pediatrician, for goodness sake.
Right, it takes a years since I've seen my pediatrician.
And then half the time, the only real work they do is add up the bill. You never can be sure they fixed anything.
That's not true.
Let her finish.
Why this indifference to the customer? Because the demand for mechanics is greater than the supply, because they're all men.
That's right.
Okay. Mr. Blackwell?
Okay, let's switch things around a bit. How would you like it if some boy wearing an apron came into your cooking class?
We had one last week.
Oh, by the way, how's Ferguson doing?
Wonderfully. Yesterday he got his omelet to rise.
Good for Ferguson.
Do you realize what would happen if we tapped this huge reservoir of women power? What that competition would do? Do you realize how many women mechanics are at this very moment washing dishes or changing babies? Free those women. Then you'd see the men tighten up and do a job.
Yeah, that's right.
Then who would wash the dishes and change the babies, may I ask?
Don't ask.
What law is there that says that only women...
Miss Adams, my turn. Now, this may come as a great shock to everyone, but you're not going to get an argument out of me.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
I agree with you that there is nothing in the school rules that says that a girl may not elect the automotive course. I only wish you'd come to me sooner. We could have avoided a lot of sound and fury. Now, John, I'm sure that the presence of one young lady in your class is not going to constitute a serious disruption.
That's easy enough for you to say. But how am I going to get the boys to keep their minds on cars instead of girls?
What makes you think they ever have? By the way, which one of you girls is the mechanic?
Shirley.
This pretty little thing?
This pretty little thing isn't big enough to drive a car.
Shirley's not a thing, pretty or otherwise.
Women are real people. W-A-R-P.
Why don't we save that for music class? As for you, young lady, do you know that there is a serious shortage of female conductors?
That's quite true, Mr. Kaufman. Thank you for the suggestion.
Now, Shirley, you'll report to Mr. Blackwell tomorrow.
All
right. Thank you, one and all. Goodbye, everybody. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Hey, wow, he was fun, and they hardly even put up a fight.
Oh, they never fight. They just patronize us.
Sandy? Hi, here are your notes. That stuff on H.G. Wells was just what I needed. Now all I have to do is figure out who H.G. Wells was.
Could you read them any easier this time?
Oh, I got your handwriting down now. As soon as I figured out that you cross your I's and dot your T's. What are you, Aries?
No, it's just difficult.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm Pisces.
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius. Are we compatible?
H.G. Wells. He was essentially a teller of tales. Now, George Bernard Shaw was a creator of memorable characters. Now, of all the English writers, Shaw was the creator of great heroines, like Cleopatra, St. Joan, Mrs. Warren, and Major Barbara, all of whom are what we would call emancipated women. You know, Sandy, you and the girls have been caught up in women's lib would really appreciate Shaw's attitude toward women. He was a great champion for women's rights in his day, you know? One of the things he said was, women are only called womanly when they regard themselves solely for the use of men. Bernie?
Well, that is very interesting. But what does it mean?
Well, it means that men have always tended to look upon women as sexual objects first and people second. Okay, now, what are you laughing at? Women want respect. They want to be thought of as equals. They don't want to be looked upon as just a pair of legs or a pair of... All right. Bernie, how would you feel if when you went walking down the street, girls whistled at you? See, you'd be flattered for a minute, but you wouldn't feel very respected, would you?
Well, if they don't want us to look at their legs, how come they all the time showing us?
Here they come. Hey, sweetheart, how's about you and me engaging in a little heavy breathing?
Ooh, I want a little one. Ooh, I love those little ones.
Hey there, beautiful bodies like yours are made, not born.
Now, will you tell us all about this harassment that the girls of Warp have been giving you?
Well, after that young girl pinched me and made suggestion remarks about my body, I cried and cried right through deep knee bends.
I plan to take karate lessons. And heaven help the next girl who dare lay a hand on my knee. I'm not hostile. I just want respect.
I know I have beautiful legs, but I want to be appreciated for my mind.
Well, at first I thought it was pretty humiliating, but I guess I can get used to being treated as a mindless sex object. Well, you know me, I never had much ambition anyway.
And finally, George Vincent remarked simply, what kind of a boy do they think I am anyway? What a burn.
Well, but you know what they say, it's just publicity. Besides, I think it's kind of funny.
Of course it's funny. That's just the trouble. Everything we do is just ho-ho time. Men just laugh at us. And the more serious we become, the funnier they think we are.
Sandy. Hi. I've been meaning to tell you, I think what you girls are doing is just fine. Keep it up.
Thanks, Miss McIntyre. That helps a little.
Why, what's the matter? You are into something good.
Oh, Miss McIntyre, I mean, you're really nice and everything, and encouraging. But you're a woman. To the men, we're just a joke. No matter what we do, they just won't take us seriously.
Well, now remember, you've got a few thousand years of history to undo. And there's always been something funny to first-class citizens when second-class citizens start yelling for the same things. So give yourself some time. Find an issue that really hits them in where they live, and they won't laugh anymore, I guarantee.
Well, you're right. I know I'm impatient. It's just that I don't know why we have to wait.
I know what you mean. Right on.
Can we have a ball, please? Pretty lucky.
I'll do it again if you want.
Again? So now how far away that is?
Give me the ball. Let her try.
Shoot me the ball, will you? Good shot.
Yeah. See you around.
Yeah, see you around.
Did you see that? Hey, Helen, when'd you learn to do that? I don't mean the shot. I mean the boys. Did you see their faces? What'd you see on their faces?
Well, they were surprised.
I'll tell you what you saw on their faces. Respect.
Look, I got a B+ on that test on H.G. Wells. That is the best grade of my entire life. And I owe it all to you. Of course, I crossed my I's and dotted my T's, and Miss Johnson couldn't read it, but...
Larry, we want to get Halloran on the basketball team.
Well, that's not hard.
I mean the boys' basketball team.
That's hard.
Oh, Larry, will you coach her? She can shoot like you can't believe. It's just that she needs some help on some of the other parts of the game.
What is this, your Amazon Society's latest blow for women's liberation? Why are you laughing?
Because you're not.
All right, Halloran, let's warm up a little. Let me see you move. Take it easy, relax, take a few shots. A little out of shape. That's out of shape? Where did you learn to play like that?
Oh, I've got 4 brothers. We've always played together.
Uh-huh. And you really want to play on the team?
I'd love to play.
And why shouldn't she play with the best if she's good enough?
That's cool, that's cool. Secret weapon. Opposition collapses in confusion.
Listen, I'm worried about the opposition on our team.
But Halloran, that's just the point. Where's the victory without opposition? A little bit of luck, the boys will hit her gut.
I can hardly wait to see the expression on Coach Windish's face. All right, Halloran.
You can call me Hal.
All right, Hal. Let's try a few moves. Man-to-man defense. You should pardon the expression, but try to score on me.
All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I want you to form a single line behind the midcourt stripe. As the ball is passed to you, sound off with your name loud and clear and go in for a layup. All right, you got that?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Wilson.
I don't see Halloran.
You see Larry Silverstreet?
Yeah.
Right behind him.
Jamaica.
Oh, she looks just like one of the boys to me.
But what about her voice?
Halloran.
Hey, you. What'd you say your name was?
Halloran, sir.
Let's see you do that again. Hey, nice shot. Good boy. All right, that's it for now. Practice tomorrow, same time. The following men report to me. Evans, Silverstreet, Howard, Halloran. Girls, Girls, now come on, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here anyway. Now, if you can't hold it down, I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. We can't run a practice here. I can't hear myself think. What are you doing here?
I've been here. I was in the scrimmage.
Oh, what are you talking about, the scrimmage? What's your name, young lady?
Halloran, sir.
But you can't take her off. You gotta give her another chance.
What do you mean I can't take her off? You see how I'm taking her off? She's off.
Mr. Kaufman, you see, that proves it. Mr. Windish had Halloran on the roster, and he's only cutting her because she's a girl.
If she's good enough, why can't she be on the team?
If she wants to play basketball, let her play on a girls' team.
But she's good.
I don't care if she's good. She's not going to play on my team.
Mr. Windish, at the risk of bringing up a sore subject, when you consider the record this team has had the last 3 years, I don't think we can afford to pass up any candidate.
Put that girl on the team, we'll be the laughing stock of the whole league.
Not if you won a few games.
All right, all right. Dixon, you want to be the coach? You be the coach.
I honestly haven't heard one real reason for keeping Halloran off the team as long as she qualifies.
Because she's a girl.
That's not a reason.
Okay. I think I've come up with a way to settle this thing if Mr. Windish will go along. Why don't we ask the boys from last year's team if they'd be willing to have a girl in their midst?
Absolutely. I got nothing against that. I know how they'll answer.
Okay. Let's take the vote. How many of you go along with Mr. Windish and would like to have an all-boy team? It's 5 against. Is there any point in asking if anyone is for having Miss Halloran join? Well, a hand.
Silver Street.
Miss Adams, afraid that settles it. I guess there's just a few pockets of resistance that still aren't willing to be liberated.
Listen, Sandy, a general can't go into mourning for every soldier that falls in battle.
Oh, go slam dunk your head.
Are you crying?
Yes. And often, and when I'm not smoking cigars or lifting weights, I laugh and cry, almost like a real human being.
Sandy, I'm sorry it didn't work out.
Tell Halloran that, will you? I can't face her.
She knows how you feel.
Well, you did all you could.
What do you mean all I could? I did better than I could.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah, but how's Girl gonna move up there for the rebound? Well, what makes the difference? I mean, you've got to admit she's the best shooter you've ever seen.
So what do you guys got to be scared of?
Scared? Well, who's scared?
How'd you make out with your car?
Oh, just fine. That little girl really knows what to do with a carburetor.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I knew I'd never get out. Hello. What can I do for you, boys?
Mr. Kaufman, we wanted to talk to you about that girl, you know, Halloran or Halloran?
Yeah, yes, sir, Halloran. That is, we've been thinking, what do we have to be scared of?
Are you scared?
No. I mean, we just thought it was very weird to have a girl on the team, that's all.
No, what happens if she turns out to be better than you guys?
Better. She's just a girl.
It's just a girl.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why don't you just give her a chance anyway? Otherwise, it makes us look bad.
Like we're scared.
Yeah, just give her a chance.
After all, what do you guys got to be scared of, right?
Right. That's just the way we feel about it, Mr. Kaufman.
Halloran. That's the team. Now, the rest of you guys, you keep trying, you hear?
Let's see. Munson made it. What is this? Really?
Larry,
Oh, hi.
it was an oversight, wasn't it? A mistake? I mean, you were on the team last year.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
Was it because of Halloran?
Actually, it was because I wasn't good enough. Or serious enough, that's my problem.
Well, it's a way to get by. I mean, if you don't take things too seriously, then you can't get hurt.
That's right. That's right on the button.
Look, why don't we go out together? Maybe over the weekend. Go to a movie or something.
Why, you feel sorry for me?
Well, if I do, it's because I have a tendency to take things too seriously.
Only if you promise to keep your hands to yourself.
I'm not making any promises.
Egad, Silver Street, the woman is mad for you. Absolutely mad for you. But wait a minute. Think about this for a minute. Are you ready to become involved? What about your life, your career, your ambitions? Are you ready to tie yourself down to this creature of lust? Remember, men are only called manly when they regard themselves solely for the use of the women.
Here's old 10 miles to the gallon. Where's that girl Shirley that did such a great job on your car?
She's not here.
Not here? This is sixth period, isn't it?
Right, but she left the course.
She left the course?
She wanted to be near her boyfriend.
I know she had a boyfriend.
She does. I think his name is Ferguson.
Ferguson, that kid in cooking class? Now she's in cooking class.
Now she's in cooking class.
Pete, you know what I feel like right now? I feel like smoking a big, fat cigar.